Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you found me. I'm just so thankful you're here with me today in our week 51 in our book, Queen of the Castle, 52 Weeks for the Uninspired, Domestically Challenged, or Just Plain Tired Homemaker by Lynn Walker. We are in week 51, which means we only have one more week of recording left and putting up before I transition to new content, which I've loved sharing 51 weeks with you in regards to this, and I'm excited to do more and more what I love. Like, I love sharing, don't get me wrong, but you know, doing something I'm a little bit more comfortable sharing with, which is sewing and things of that nature. So this year has been a fun year of just experimenting, learning how to use recordings and how to put together videos and add music and add tags and all that kind of stuff. It's been fun and very enjoyable for me. And so our title today is Eating Our Way Through the Holidays, Christmas Foods. And I don't know about you, but every family seems to have some things that are traditional. For me growing up, we didn't have a whole lot of money, but my mom always did what she could to make it special for us. And a special breakfast for us, which may sound terrible, but it was really wonderful, was she had this huge pot, and she would make a huge pot of hot cocoa, which usually consists of an entire gallon of milk. And she would use baking cocoa, and she'd sweeten it with sugar, and that was our drink. And then she would take a loaf, an entire loaf of bread, and it was usually white bread, nothing that was very fancy, just a very simple white bread, and she would toast it and butter it, and that was our breakfast. And we loved it. We would dip our buttered toast into our cocoa, and it was just wonderful. And I think we were able to have 2 or 3 pieces between the 7 of us. There were, I can't even remember, but we definitely weren't hurting for calories. A lot of calories to keep this figure is my joke now. Something that we started doing with our family is my husband loves to make pancakes, and so that's something that he would do. But then there came a point when I was like, oh my goodness, what if we just picked up cinnamon rolls from Hope's Bake Shop, which she's a local baker, and I just love her cinnamon rolls. I could die over them, and I love them. And then there are people who for dinner have the traditional turkey and ham, or at least we do. But I've known of people who do steak or beef tenderloin or prime rib, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty fancy. That's pretty fancy. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's just kind of fun. I'm going to share with you a recipe today. It's going to be a baking one today, which I haven't done in a long time. I've kind of avoided it for various reasons. But we're going to do her make-ahead egg and sausage casserole. And the first thing she says is you want 2 pounds of sausage. I had deer meat with me, or I had deer meat here at the house, so I cooked up some deer meat. And as I was reading this, I was like, wait a minute, so you put the sausage in first? So it says no, until pink is left, no pink is left. So I've done that, and I'm gonna show you a trick right here on how I get my meat to get just a little bit more finer. When I'm cooking our deer sausage, I notice that it doesn't break up and crumble like a Jimmy Dean sausage does. And so I'm gonna show you my little trick. I have this little dicer thing. Probably shouldn't do it on, you know, this pan, but you know, I figure I'm not usually really touching, you know, the surface of it. So I just kind of come in and use this to break it up. And it does seem to help a bit. So that's my little trick. Requests 6 slices, or no, it says cheddar cheese and Swiss cheese. But I have these cheeses that were gifted to us from my husband's uncle when we moved, and I'm gonna slice these up and use these. And then I also have like bits and pieces of some shredded cheese left over, cheddar jack it looks like, small bit of Mexican, and then I also have some Italian style. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and use that, and also request 6 slices of bread with the crust cut off. And I do have bread, but I also have these hot dog buns that need to go, and I might have another piece, this type of bread or something that I'm going to pull in there as well. So just so you know, I'm going to be doing some substitutions to this, just because to me it's important to use what you have. All right, so at this point we are going to take a glass baking dish, which is what I have here. I'm going to spray it. She says to grease it. I'm not greasing, I'm just spraying it. I'm using my hot dog buns because, you know. And she just says about 6 slices of bread's crust remove and each slice cut in half. I'm just gonna go ahead and lay these open and fill them up, and then I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, so what I have done is I have just kind of laid this out so that it's nice, you know, just kind of laid out. And what I'm gonna do is, it says to sprinkle your cheese on here. Now I went ahead and I shredded my cheese, and I'm gonna spread that out. And I really, I was really kind of sad. I had to throw out some of my cheese because it had done its thing. So I want to use up definitely some of these bits and pieces that might have a little bit more cheddar in it. And I'm not being perfect with this. I'm just getting it on here so I can. I'm cleaning out my fridge. It's corn day, making a make-ahead egg and sausage casserole. And you know, cheddar is a very greasy cheese, and so I like that she's up with a Swiss cheese. But I'm just using, so I used some Mexican cheese, which is a blend of what? This is 4 cheeses, Monterey Jack, something like that. I know that there was a, this one is an Italian style. It's made with mozzarella, provolone, Assaggio, Parmesan. So it just has all this wonderful flavor in it with the cheeses. And I'm just, you know, it says to basically use however much you want. It doesn't say specifically, but I'm just trying to use up those bags. And I think I've got a really good layer with that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and stick our, I'll show you what this is not gonna be fast, but here we go. That's all I've done. And now, I hope that was good because, you know, I'm just tilting my camera. Being very unprofessional, but hey, whatever works. And now I'm gonna put my sausage on, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here I've gone ahead and I have mixed the 6 eggs and the 2 cups of milk, and I'm just pouring it over the top. And I'm assuming that this is just all gonna like encapsulate what we need here to make it all nice and yummy. There's a couple of things, you know, she mentions, she says, you know, you can do this other part in the morning. She says you can, the eggs and the milk you can do in the morning. I'm just kind of pushing this down a bit because, you know, why not? And then I'm gonna stick it in the oven. So it says to put in the oven for 325 for an hour, let cool, and then cut up into squares to serve. And then at the very bottom she says you can substitute any shredded cheese that you might have in lieu of the what's it called? The sliced cheese. So that's nice. She also mentions, you know, using like a hot sausage and a regular sausage. And I did not do that. I just used what I had on hand. And that's the nice thing about cooking, is it's so easy for us to get caught up in this, well, the recipe says it has to be this, but you know what sausage and eggs and cheese taste like. And is it really gonna hurt if the cheese isn't exactly the same cheese? So to me, that's part of like my meatloaf has variations. And it, I've used pizza sauce, leftover pizza sauce. I've used leftover tomato sauce. I've used, I've even used, pull it out because my brain's going blank here. Here we go. I've even used paste pecani sauce. So to me, it's important to use up what's in your fridge because that's being a good steward of your things. I am going to do something a little bit different and I'll be right back. Okay, so to change it up just a little bit, not a lot, I'm going to take some cumin powder and I'm just going to put it, I'm going to cut my hand and I'm just going to put enough that kind of fits in that little well, just a little bit, so it's not very much. So it's, I think it's like 2 or 3 pinches. And I'm just going to put the cumin over the top since I didn't use a spiced sausage. And then And cumin's a great one, you know, if you want to change up your eggs just a little bit, but not too much. Cumin is really nice and it adds a little bit. Another thing is, I have a plethora of Italian seasonings. And so this is more of maybe a teaspoon I'm using now. And I'm just, again, gonna pinch it over, and I'll count the pinches. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like about 6 or 7 pinches for me. Yeah, 7 pinches. And I'm just putting that over the top. I still have some of that shredded cheese, and I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit over the top. Not a lot, just a little bit. You're still gonna be able to see the sausage very well, and I will show you that in a moment. Here we go, so you can see how I did it. I just put a little bit on there, not a whole lot. I'm gonna open my oven. And we're gonna put this in, and it says to put it in for 1 hour. I'm gonna put it on my top rack, and we're just gonna let that do its thing. This is another thing that seems to happen this time of year, and it's kind of fun. You know, this is a good friend of ours. This is a lemon poppy seed loaf that is just, we love this. Some wonderful baked cookies from my sister and her family. And oh my goodness, yeah. My son got I think a 18 days, I don't remember what it was, but it was like 18 of these full size Reese's, and then other candies that come in. And then I think these are from my sister as well, and they have different breads in it, and some almond roca, and it's just so much fun. What else do we have over here? Some s'mores hot chocolate. Oh great, more almond roca. And then this is a tea, and this is so cute. So one of my nephews and his girlfriend made, I love that fabric. It's a tea, she said, that I think was her grandmother's. And so very excited. But yeah, I just kind of put that hoard together so that if I guess I want something sweet, I know where to go to. Well, I've got our casserole in the oven, and I decided to take some time to look at Christmas cards. So I'll show you some of the lovely Christmas cards I've gotten. Well, I still have time to kill while that's baking, and it's quiet. So I think I'm gonna actually sit down and read these newsletters. So I kind of sorted it with pictures and the cards and the newsletters, because I want to read those newsletters, and I need to find a place where I can display them so that I can enjoy them this holiday season. Blessings to you, and I'll be back in a little bit when I'm done cooking that puppy and taste testing it. All right, this is out of the oven, and oh my goodness, it's just, oh, it smells amazing. I wish you could smell it. It just smells amazing. So I'm just gonna take a little spoonful here. Ooh. And so you'll see it's not, you know, I used hot dog buns, and unless someone's really paying attention, you know. The cheese, remember, is just a mixture of a bunch of cheeses, and so not really sure how they're going to turn out, so I'm going to do that. So here we go, I'm going to try it. Okay, I'm going to try it. It's steaming hot, so I'm like worried I'm going to burn my mouth. And I was trying to get a mixture of a bunch of stuff in there. And I may have got a quarter where maybe the hot dog bun wasn't all the way, but I burnt my mouth the other day on coffee, so I'm a little leery. It's pretty amazing, actually. The bread softened from maybe the oils in some of the cheeses, but it's just amazing. Excellent. Very good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's lesson or opportunity to just kind of share some things and share one of Lynn Walker's dishes, and look forward to next week, which I have to even see what that is, but I believe it just talks about the new year. Bringing in the new year. What are your plans? Ooh, can't wait to share with you for next week. Blessings.